Aboro, Aboye, Aboshishe. Ekabo, and welcome to another live stream of the Ifa Orisa tradition discussion. Today, we are going to discuss etiquette when visiting shrines, temples, or Ojubos. All right, but before I do that, let me start by offering the Iba. Mo enjiba reale, mo enjiba ale oni, ale tule miloni, momo je kolemi suku, momo je kolemi sarun buruku, momo je kolemi selinini. Ara tu enroru, ara tu enrokuku, momo je konrimi, mo embe, osi ire lale in. Baba omo je kimi je ire loro. Ashe, ashe, ashe. All right, so today's stream is not going to be very lengthy, but we're going to have a discussion today concerning etiquette, right? Or what is expected conduct, expected behavior if you are visiting a shrine. All right. We have various festivals every year at different iles, shrines, temples. Some call it Ojubo also. And for persons who have never visited an Ifa or Orisha shrine or temple, I'm going to explain a few things in terms of what is expected of visitors. All right, whether you are initiated or uninitiated. All right, in some spaces, when you are approaching the entrance, you are required to greet from the entrance before putting a step into the compound. All right. Some places require you to announce yourself by saying Ago ile or Ago nile. This greeting or this shout is actually you're calling out to the house. All right. Normally, if there are people close by who can hear your call out, their response would be wale, which means you can enter. All right. So by calling out, you're announcing yourself and you're asking if it's okay for you to enter. And the response that comes from inside the house would be wale, which means yes, you're free to enter. All right. Now, let's liken that particular process to you having a visitor come to your home. If someone, a friend, or even a stranger was to come into your house, they would not just open your front door and walk in. If it's a very strange person, they would stand outside the gate and they would call out, hello, hello, does anybody live there? Or good morning, is June there? Or whoever they come to see. All right. In like manner, if you are in the house and you are June, let's pretend you're a June, you would say, who is that? All right, come inside now. June would make sure she's properly dressed, properly prepared to welcome the guest, and she would tell you, okay, come now, just open the gate and come in. All right, it is a similar process. All right, once you make your entry through the passage into the Ile, generally you're going to meet two edifices. One is called Eshu, and the other one is called Ogun. All right, Eshu is the first divinity that you would pay respects to on entering into the courtyard of the shrine or of the temple. You would go before the edifice and you would pay your respects. It is not a very complicated process. Normally, there would be a container close by Eshu that may contain water. In some cases, there might be alcohol. All right. So normally what is done is you greet Eshu, right, by saying, Eshu, I call you and I offer my respects to you. Thank you for allowing me to travel safely to this destiny. And for those who are to come after me, allow them also to have a safe passage to this place. You can say it in English. There's no complication for you to know Yoruba to have to say anything in Yoruba. Okay? For people who are initiated and for people who have been trained and prepared, then the expectations, of course, would be a little greater. But for you as a visitor or as a newcomer, that is the customary entry. After you go to the edifice of Eshu and you pay your respects, the next stop is at Ogun, who is the protector. You would also pay similar respects there, and after that, you would move forward to greeting anyone else you meet in this space. All right? Now, let's talk about the greetings. If you're a newcomer, you would not know who the elder is, who the person in charge of the yard is, or none of that. So therefore, everyone you would meet, you would greet them respectfully. All right? For people who are initiated, they would know what is Dubale, and they would have to greet elders appropriately by partially bowing before the elders or touching the ground in front of the elders for them to receive the blessing of the particular elder. All right, that is the first and most important thing that you would know if you're visiting a yard. All right, the other thing is that for most visitors, a lot of people would ask, do I have to dress in any particular fashion to visit the shrine? Well, it is always preferred if you're visiting a space that is practiced in African tradition that you dress in African attire. It is not mandatory that you do. If you don't have African attire, it does not mean that you cannot go to an event or visit an Orisha yard. However, what is required is that in selecting what you wear, right, we normally suggest you dress in a way that your body is partially covered, or decently covered, as some people would say. Right? In some cases, they ask that your head too is also covered. All right? But if it is that you don't have a head covering, it is not a problem. All right? But we generally ask that women attire themselves modestly or properly. All right? We don't expect you to wear, a one piece like you're going to the beach, or a two piece. You know what I mean? We expect you to have yourself properly covered. Right? In the case of men, the same rule applies. Right? Of course, you would always have some exceptions where you have some people who you would meet who would be dressed differently to what I'm suggesting, but they, of course, would have been familiar with the space and knows what is allowed, and based on the function and the role that they have to play, they may dress differently. All right, we have drummers, right, and sometimes we have ritual performers who may dress in a particular way that is required. So those might be the exceptional circumstances. All right, now in terms of regular events, all right, some spaces would have feast, or what some people call Thanksgiving, Saraka. There are different types of events and activities. All right, there is Iwori, which is a regular event in a lot of shrines. Some shrines have it monthly or bi-monthly, where their members would assemble, okay, to have rituals. All right. During these events, there would be the propitiation of the various Orishas. There would be a lot of singing and drumming and dancing, and people would be enjoying the ritual that would be a part of the normal procedure or the normal process. There would also be the singing of many songs in Yoruba. All right. We even use, in some cases, we call it a litany, similar to what is used in the Catholic Church. But when we say a litany in our use, we are talking about the orikis being sung in a particular sequence. All right. Meaning there would be the honoring of specific deities before other deities. All right. Not necessarily based on the order of importance, but based on the roles and functions of the deities. For example, I would give an example. I just mentioned when you enter the courtyard, the first edifice that you meet is the Esu edifice. And then the other edifice that you're going to meet is Ogun. Because of the role they play in the Orisha cosmology, Esu is recognized very early, right? And after, Ogun is also recognized. In singing the songs, it also follows that particular order. All right? Now, depending on the yard that you visit, there would also be edifices in different locations in the yard for various energies. All right? So during the ritual, let me say it's an Iwuri, right? You would have offerings being made and taken to the edifices of the various energies. All right? And also one of the most important energies to be venerated is the ancestors. All right? And of course, we know the importance of the ancestors because we all have ancestors. And if we did not have ancestors, we would be not here. As long as you're here and you're alive, you have ancestors. All right? So, during these times, in the ritual, during the performance of the songs and the drumming and the singing, a person who is there for the first time, you may not know all of the songs that are being sung because they are being sung in Yoruba. But now, because of the popularity of Orisha music, many persons who are even not devotees and practitioners are familiar with a lot of the songs that were sung by Ella and Del. All right. And also by a couple of other people. I think we had Lord Nelson singing a song. We also had Sugar Aloe singing a song that is dedicated to Orisha. So we might be familiar with some of these songs. So surely when you visit and they are performing these songs during the litany, you will be encouraged to join, to sing, to clap, and to dance. All right? And when we say dance, we ain't talking about, totally losing your mind and losing control. We expect that, you would, make a little move, but at the same time, maintain some level of dignity and decency and all that. Of course, unless, you have some kind of different circumstance where, you would have to be assisted by, the person who's in charge. But, more on a serious note, let's get back to what takes place. So normally, like in my home shrine where I used to attend regular, when I was an active member, what normally happens is during Iwori, the first portion of the Iwori, of course, they would have the opening, right? They would have the litany. You would have the offerings being made to all the various energies. And after that, what we would normally have is we would have an Ifa reading for that particular day. And when I say an Ifa reading, I'm not talking about divination. I'm talking about taking one of the essay Ifas from the corpus. It is read to everyone, and then a discussion is held where every person present makes a contribution. All right? One of the things is this. The person who's in charge would be the person responsible for, of course, leading the discussion. Okay? In most instances, this would be an individual who is qualified to interpret essay Ifas. But nonetheless, they would allow everyone to contribute, even a person who does not have a complicated or technical knowledge of what is required to interpret the essay Ifa. But of course, they would be guided by the person who is leading the discussion. Right? Now, many essay Ifas, beside having the keys to interpretation, many of them are very simple moralistic lessons that could be derived from the simple rendering of the essay Ifa. Right? So in many cases, even a regular person could garner the message that is taught in the essay Ifa. All right? Normally, depending on what event it is, normally most shrines welcome persons bringing gifts. All right? And when we talk about gifts, we're talking about suitable gifts. And I would give you an idea what I mean when I say a suitable gift. All right. Normally, the various articles that are used in the performance of rituals are used in order to appease particular energies, and because of their symbolisms, they represent the request for various things that are of interest to human beings or of things that we desire to have. All right. For example, I'm going to just name a few things that we generally consider to be a priority in terms of the things that we ask for in our lives. All right. One of the things we ask for is that we may have a long, healthy, peaceful life. So we ask for longevity. We ask for good health. We ask for a peace of mind. All right. That's the first combination. The second thing that we look at is the issue of having wealth. All right. And abundance. All right. Wealth does not only cover money. There are many other things that are included in wealth. After we ask for that, the other thing that we consider to be of major importance is we ask for family life, for having a harmonious family life. In our tradition, polygamy is practiced. So if it's a single man, his prayer will be for many wives. If it is for a single woman, she would pray to have a husband. If it is a married couple, they would pray to have children. All right? And if it is a family that is already established, they would pray for all the members of their family to have the safety, protection, health, and well-being. All right? For all the members of their immediate family as well as their extended family. All right? After we ask for these things, we still ask for other things. We ask to have victory over our enemies. We ask also that we be elevated and rewarded for our hard work. All right? These are the main things that we ask for. And I'm now going to explain to you the gifts that are associated to the things that I've just mentioned. All right? I think it was my last stream. I spoke about Obi and I spoke about Orogo. All right? Obi used in propitiating the Orishas is normally used as a symbol of long life. So therefore, if you're attending an event, you can take the gift of Obi. So if you have a tree, you pick it and you bring it. If not, you could visit the market. There are people at the market who sell these Obis. You can buy a handful and you could bring it to the event. Find out who's the person in charge and you could give them some Obi. All right, because when we use it as a symbol of longevity. All right. Another gift that is also accepted for ritual purposes is something called Orogo. All right, which is also a Kola, but it's one solid piece of Kola. It does not have cotyledons in multiple numbers like Obi. All right, Orogo is also a symbol associated to long life, good health, energy, and good luck. So that is also something that is used to propitiate the energy as a symbol of the things that I'm speaking about. Another thing that could be accepted as a gift when you're visiting the shrine is honey. And we all know honey is sweet. So we know what it's a symbol of. So it is something that is accepted as a gift also. So you can take a bottle of honey also when you go into the event. Whether it's prayers or a festival, it's going to be used. Another thing we use is tea or alcohol, plain alcohol. It is something that you can also bring as a gift. In Trinidad, the preferred drink, of course, for the energies is puncheon. So you could always purchase a bottle of puncheon and you can bring it with you and you can give that as a gift to the host of the event. All right. The other thing that could be included is palm oil. Right. So just last week, not last week, the stream before, 2 streams ago, I mentioned the palm oil. The palm oil is used as a cooling, soothing agent that smoothens things. This is the associated symbol. That too is accepted as a gift. All right. Then beyond that, we would have things such as fruits, bananas, pawpaw, watermelon, sugarcane, pomsiter, practically any fruit. Right? And then one would ask, what is the symbolism associated to fruits? Well, I would share this little secret today. All right. Most fruits has a seed. And every fruit that bears after its kind via the seed represent fertility and productivity. So by offering a fruit with a seed, the symbolism associated to it is fertility. All right? So we spoke about dress code, we spoke about your entry, we spoke about showing respect to the elders, and we spoke about what gifts would be suitable. And then last but not least, having general quorum, knowing how to be polite, knowing how to be respectful, knowing how to be courteous, right, in dealing with other people. Sometimes during these events, people go into manifestation. The person might be next to you, the person might be in front of you, the person might be behind you. They may fall on you. They may lean in your direction. All right? We ask that you exercise some kind of discipline and restraint if you could help the person in any way whatsoever. If you can, because sometimes you can't. All right? And sometimes, depending on who is the host, they may suggest that you do not touch the person, that you step aside. So, depending on the space you're in, whatever directive you are given, that is what you must follow. All right? So, I think that should sort of cover the general idea of what a visitor, what a newcomer, what a person who's visiting a yard for the first time should kind of expect. And these are the things that are expected of you. All right? And that kind of covers what I had set out to discuss today. All right? I know there are quite a few viewers on. All right? And I would like to greet everyone who is on and say blessed night to everyone. All right? Other than that, various spaces have festivals at different times of the year. I think this month we have Ogun Festival at Ile Ishoka, right? And I think they're going to have 3 nights at the shrine in Lower Santa Cruz. And there is also going to be 3 nights in Tobago. All right, so the festival seems to be going from strength to strength. And now it is not just in Trinidad, but now it is also being hosted in Tobago also. So, of course, we would encourage members of the community to come out and support. And also those persons who are interested and have never attended, we will encourage you also to visit this event. All right? Not something that I normally do, but I mean, because it's alive, any person who wants to type in any question in the comments, I might be able to take a few questions and try to address them. All right? To go back a little bit, I was saying that sometimes you have exceptions to the dress code. All right? Sometimes the drummers may come in armless. Sometimes devotees of Oshun may dress with their shoulders out. So depending on, what the situation is, we may have exceptions to the norm, to what I suggested as a person trying to dress in what we call, moderate garments, right? All right, well, I don't see any questions coming up, so I would assume there is no questions for me tonight. And as a result of that, I'm going to say Odabo and thank everyone for joining us, joining this stream this evening. And I would like to remind everyone, you do good for yourself. You do bad for yourself. All right?